Hola, Taboo Breakers. Bienvenidos a Taboo Talks Latina Edition. Yo soy Cynthia.
And I'm Jeanette, and here at Taboo Talks, we keep it real, raw, and rooted in our cultura. This is the space where we shed the silence, speak on the truth our abuelas were told to hide, and celebrate the stories that make us powerful mujeres.
We break cycles, honor our voices, and amplify the mujeres changing the game. Lo que nadie quiere decir, we say it here with heart, laughter, and healing.
And today's guest is not just creating spaces, she's building movements that center Latinas' joy, luxury, healing, and sisterhood.
We're so honored to welcome Annie, a proud immigrant, professional events manager, and the visionary behind Cultura Takeover. Annie is a cultural storyteller, redefining what it means for Latinas to gather, thrive, and celebrate all on our own terms.
She's lived across Peru, the US, and London, and through her work, she's intentionally building experiences that remind us we deserve connection, softness, and community, not just survival. Annie, welcome to Taboo Talks Latina Edition. We're so excited to have you here.
Hello, hello. Muchas gracias por tenerme. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for finally being here. We're so excited. And before we dive into today's topic, if we walked into your childhood home on a Sunday, what would we see? What would we hear and feel? Paint us the scene, right? What would we smell coming from the kitchen? What music was playing in your household? What were the vibes?
I love this. Going like deep into it. And I love this question. And thank you so much for creating this space, actually. Like your intro was so beautiful.
Thank you.
My home, okay, so I was born and raised in Peru. I moved to the US when I was 14. My house, I grew up in Peru, but I didn't grow up in Lima. I think usually when people hear I grew up in Peru, they think of Lima. I'm actually from the Amazon area. I'm a jungle girl. I say that, and people always get a little bit confused on what does that entail. I grew up in this town called Pucallpa, which is on the east side, close to Brazil. My family, I would say, was middle class. My father is a physician. So obviously with that role, it allowed us a little bit more of a comfortable life in a city that was developing. But even though we lived comfortably in like a cute house, street to paint you the full picture, was still like mud. Like it wasn't like a real road with sewer flowing down the street. Again, to paint the picture that people think like, oh, her father was a doctor, etc. It was still a very developing and poor city. We were lucky enough to have a wonderful home. We had a really big garden. My family, usually on Sundays, we were outside. We will go in the gardens. Sometimes we'll have a big pool that will like fill with water. It was like a plastic pool. So I remember those times I was just inviting my friends from the neighborhood to partake in this joy, and we have some food over. My grandma to my dad's side, she would come live with us for 6 months out of the times when it was winter in Lima, because she lived there, and because she was older, the winter was harder for her, so she would come with us because where we lived it was tropical all the time. So her food was incredible, so I have really fond memories of her, and that's what it looked like grandmotherly love, great parents, having fun. My mom was very feminine. She was always like dressed to the nines. She will always just be there playing with us and, inviting the neighborhood kids and kids from my school over. And, I had like a really joyful childhood, even though parts of it was still really hard.
And that's beautiful to hear because I feel like that's what's missing with this generation, right? Like we don't get to play on the streets anymore. You don't see
Yeah.
kids like gritándole, "Oye, entra que está la comida." Like
Yes.
we don't get that anymore. And I feel like I grew up like that, right? And cuando baje el sol, come home. And now it's like we don't get to see that. We don't see kids outside anymore. Like it's all in-house or with their devices. So I love to hear that because it reminds us that we had something beautiful growing up that maybe we took it for granted, but it's so missed.
No, I 100% agree. I think nowadays I always see parents being like so helicopter, right? Because if you see a playground, you don't see the kids playing with themselves. You see the kids playing with the parents.
Yes.
And that, the kids are not having new friendships. They're not developing new friendships. So sometimes they're sitting there and they're just on their phone. It just be like different setting, but same thing that you're doing at home.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it has
Yeah.
to do so much with this technology and the world that we live in. But yeah, it feels good to reflect on how we all grew up, right? And how much we missed it. So I have a question because, they said we were too loud, too extra, and too much growing up, right? I feel like that's something in our cultura that was rooted at a very young age. But instead of shrinking, you created spaces. Why do you think it's so radical for Latinas to take up space socially and professionally?
Oh, I love it. This is definitely something super passionate about. This stemmed because my background when I moved here, I was working in the art sector, especially the museum field. In the last couple of years, I was working as an events manager for a really prestigious museum here in New York City. I was like at the top of my game, working with multi-millionaires, billionaires. I've even hosted royalty. So in these top spaces, I was the only person that looked like me. Or if there were other people that looked like me, they were the servers or the florists, for example, right? But there wasn't anybody that was managing the event. So that really gave me the idea like, oh, this doesn't feel right to me. I'm working so hard on creating this gorgeous spaces, but I want it to be for us. And I'm somebody that loves luxury. I love like a comfortable life. I want that for myself and I want that for everyone. So that's really how the idea for Cultura Takeover came to be. It's like, oh, I really want to be radical and open up spaces for women to feel really beautiful, to feel elegant, and take up space in places where we are not seeing normally. Like the Museum of the Art World was like my first thing to mind because I was in it. But also as I got more into it, I was thinking, well, also like the corporate room, there are not many Latinas that are making the calls VP level or investors, right? So little by little, I think we're starting to try to change that in the terms of being really loud and being very vibrant. To me, I still bring all of that with me into all the jobs that I've had. And it's actually being a power because of the vibrancy that I have. I've been able to really maintain my relationships even better than people that are more reserved or that are trying to be more like professional behavior because that's what it's told to us and that's, very whitewashed. So I compare myself to people that are a little bit like that, and I'm like, I'm able to actually thrive more because I bring my Latinidad and like that warmth to my relationships a lot better than people that are trying to like portray a very corporate image.
I love that. And it's so needed.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
and I
is.
love that you saw something being created for another community and you were like, "No, we need this for our community." So, I love that. I love that you think outside the box, and I feel like a lot of our guests that we have on, they saw a problem and they created a solution, not just any solution, but a solution for our community, and I love that. That's amazing. And I know, okay, Cultura Takeover is more than an event. Like, I see it all the time. We see it all the time. It's to me, it's more like a statement. How has it been received by our community? And what has surprised you the most?
Thank you. Yes, I try to frame them now as experiences because I am more than an events manager. And I always see Cultura now as far more than a social club because we're really bringing a lot of economic impact to the community with all the things that we do. And also impact in terms of when I host an experience, I'm trying to also shift a little bit of mindsets, right? So this is why it's being really popular in terms of when women come and they tell me, I love this event. I feel like I was seen. I feel like I was heard. The last event that I did we did a great event at Shopify in July. This girl came to me. She said, this event felt like home. Like I felt like I was at home because I just moved to New York. I just moved to the US, I think from Chile. And I've been so homesick. And this just felt like the therapy that I needed. I needed to be in community. I needed to speak Espanol. I needed to eat good food and dance. Like all those culture relevant things that make us Latinas. I try to integrate into the experiences that I host from the conversation prompts that we're giving them to even the name of the event, and really what's the takeaway, because I don't want to host an event just for the sake of hosting events. As you've seen in New York, and I think in the US, there are so many social clubs that have popped up after the pandemic. So I
Yeah.
have to think of, okay, what makes us different? Why come to me instead than other people? And sometimes I think of, do we need another social happy hour? Right? Because there are so many of those. Yes, I will host them once in a while and they're great, but what's more? What's the growth that we can still into people? That's kind of how like I approach it in terms of crafting and experiencing. I think this is why it's been really popular with people of like, oh, okay, I see you, like you grabbed something and you took it like 3 steps more and you're really making a big impact. And I see your passion, like and I'm glad that people see that passion, because we're just, I think, really solidifying ourselves to be a great platform for growth and centering Latina joy, and really focusing on the entrepreneurships and on the entrepreneurs and helping them grow and bringing a lot of money and keeping it within our community, create a circular economy.
And I love how you keep saying experience, right? Because I feel like that is so huge in event space, right? Like here in Miami, there's a lot of networking events, but it's more about like business, 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 exchange business cards. And what are the odds that you get to reconnect with them, or really there's going to be a connection after you leave that event? So having that experience that people feel seen, people feel heard is so much more powerful, especially with just the name alone of the Cultura Takeover is it's
Yeah.
even more powerful, right? Because it's like, it doesn't matter where you come from, right? Like we're here to take over and reclaim the space that we're called to. So I thought that was beautiful. Like that was so cashy to us when we came across what you're doing, because it's beautiful to see what you have built so far.
Oh, thank you so much. So for a long time, I actually battled with the name,
Wow.
because when the idea for the name came to me, it actually came to me from like I was on TikTok and I was scrolling and I was looking at the impact that Latinos are doing and how we're like taking up space in media and movies and music, like Bad Bunny and Jennifer Lopez, all these people. And there was a comment there eh, that somebody said like, oh wow, La Cultura is like really taking over. And I was like,
Oof.
Mm.
that is the name. I was like, Cultura Takeover, because we're just taking up space everywhere,
Yeah.
living abroad. But then the time where I was battling with the name was when I was thinking smaller of like, oh, this is the social club. But then I was like, no, this is so much more. So now I was like, this is the perfect name.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Like,
gosh, I
I'm
taking
love
up
glad.
that.
space, take over wherever the hell you want, because the wall is out. Like, we're here already. I don't need to tell you that I'm here to empower you. I think at the beginning when I was thinking of what's the mission of that, it was like to empower Latina. It's like, no, you already have so much of the power. I'm here to provide a platform to cultivate and maybe like excavate that power out of you even more, kind of like our diamond in the rough. How can we like shine a little bit more and make it see and make you more comfortable? We're really taking out space and owning your power and standing on sacred ground through the events and
Oof.
experiences that we do.
That's so powerful. And we're
I
seeing
love
what a
that.
beautiful work you've been doing. And it's going to keep growing because of your heart and your passion for that. And what advice, right, will you give to the Latina who still feels like she has to play small in professional or creative spaces with your experience?
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. Sometimes when, for example, I hosted something back in April and one girl came late, and we usually do introductions, when we start the event. I usually give them prompts of, tell me what era you're in, what's something that you love about yourself, like little conversation starters like that. And it was her turn to speak, and the first thing that she said, oh, I'm sorry I was late. I'm like, stop. Why are we apologizing?
Yeah.
That's not Don't apologize. You were 5 minutes late. It's okay. Or, so for example, when people are in the way, like they say, oh, sorry. So I'm like, don't be sorry that you're just there taking up space. It's just you existing, right? So I always try to have those conversations with people during the experiences of, show up fully, bring your ancestors with you. Remember that have all this power behind you because of everything that your family has gone through. to get you to where you are. And I always encourage it, like, own that power. And that will help you bring out like your true self of like, yeah, you know what? It's okay for me to say no to that. It's okay for me to have my own opinion about this. It's okay for me to rock the boat a little bit and just claim that space. Like these are things that we talk about and I encourage them during the experiences. So I will encourage people like that. Just be like, I'm powerful. My lineage is powerful. So many people, so many things had to happen in my past lives for me to be here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oof.
So
Those,
Yeah.
honor it, like don't like really honor it.
I love that. And let's talk about pleasure and joy because I know in our culture, we're just taught to like hustle, sacrifice, and always put others first and not us. So, why do you think it's still like a taboo for Latinos to prioritize fun? Like, why are we not allowed to have fun? Because when we do, right, we're either judged or we're even scared to like step out and have fun. So, why do you think that's still a taboo?
Oh my God. I have lived this in two ways. One, I have been able to be extremely lucky to have a mother that really prioritized her rest, even though she hustled a lot and she was able to rest a lot in her feminine and that like things will open up. I know a lot of people haven't been able to have that. And when I say I've lived two sides of the coin, is that when we moved here, then I saw more of like the hustle mentality that had to happen with her simply because of the circumstances, right? So I think unfortunately, because of the circumstances that we live in, one, you can be an immigrant or you can be a first generation Latina, you see your family working so hard that when you try to rest or when you try to travel and you have experiences that can be considered luxurious or out of reach, they feel really guilty because they think my parents weren't able to experience this or my grandmother never got a day off, right? So I think that's really what I've seen the pattern that really pops out through the different experiences that I've hosted when we've had like, the really deep discussions on self-care, that people don't feel worthy and they feel guilty because of that. So that creates like a little bit of the taboo. So what we're starting to do is host more experiences that with maybe like um, mental health providers that start trying to change that mindset of like you are worthy to rest, to just take a day off. And where the guilt comes in, don't feel guilty because your people, your parents, your grandparents, they want you to do this.
yeah.
They want you to rest, right? And I think everybody has had the experience whereby we're sitting in the couch just texting or relaxing for a bit and somebody comes and they're like, says, ponte a limpiar la casa.
Yeah.
No time to rest. We need to have salsa. It's okay. Like it's okay to say, no, I'm resting. And these are the boundaries that I have to respect for myself. And in terms of pleasure, oh my God, I could talk about this for
I love
ages. I love this. One of the big things, and this ties perfectly with the taboo, one of my best experiences, and I think one of my favorite ones was back in February. I hosted this event called The Power of Pleasure and sorry, Embodying Power and Pleasure. And because it was February, it was Valentine's Day, everybody was hosting like Valentine's Day. And I was like, no, I want to do something different. I want something to be centered around self love and self pleasure and power. So we hosted this really sexy event with a sex educator. So we talked about a taboo topic that's sexuality and sensuality and pleasure for Latinas and women of color, right? So in that one, we talked a lot about of we had to think of how maybe even our grandmothers maybe even experience an orgasm, or maybe they even experience pleasure on their own terms because they wanted to.
Yeah.
And it's our right to reclaim that. And it's okay for us to have pleasure in many different ways, right? It can be sexual, it can be a pleasure of eating out, a dining experience, or moving your body, or a solo trip. Like it's okay for us to cultivate that. So I think it's slowly, one step at a time, we're trying to do that paradigm shift and mindset shift in terms of not feeling guilty and really centering your pleasure because you are worthy of it. You deserve it. And there's nothing wrong with
Mm.
And it's so exciting how you've built experience rooted with that, right? Enjoy without feeling that guilt. Because when you do so, how do you embrace it? Like, personally, what tips and advice can you give others? Because I feel that with our generation, we're trying to break that, but then we still have that guilt that we fall back to, like you said. So what advice would you give to someone that you can still get to enjoy that? Like you said, you're still worthy, you still get to do it, because I feel we shouldn't blame our families, right? We thank them, we're grateful for them, but
Yeah.
they didn't know any better. And we say this all the time, right?
Right.
So
They were in survival mode.
they were in survivable.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give that mentality of trying to make it more fun and excitement other than that guilt all the time?
One big thing for me is journaling and affirmations of I am worthy. And if it feels really uncomfortable in your body, talk to it. It's like, what is that uncomfort coming from? Like, I think that advice has helped me so much. Like deep meditation, journaling, moving your body, and thinking that joy is your right. Like, just keep reminding yourself that the more I rest, the more it comes to me. And I think too, life's supposed to be easy. Life's supposed to be in a flow and getting to the juicy energy of like just playing with yourself and getting back with your inner child. Like, remind yourself of what did I like when I was a kid? Like, for me, example was dancing, and two, playing basketball, and three was paint by numbers. So one big advice would be like journaling, meditating, remind yourself, what did I love as a child?
Wow, that's a
Love
powerful
that.
question,
Yeah.
right? That we forget to dig deeper into that inner child, what makes you happy, what fulfills
Yeah.
you.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And when we talk about success, how can we start redefining success in just not just in terms of career, but in terms of happiness, connection, and ease? How can we redefine those?
I think for everyone, it's kind of different, right? So I think for the most part, we see success as we have the money, we have the car and the marriage and the big ring. I think for us, like now, I've started to see the shift of outside of the hustle culture, being more mindful to what we say yes to,
Yeah.
right? I ask yourself before you say yes to something. Is this aligned with my path? Is this going to bring me closer to the goals that I'm trying to achieve? I think another way that I've seen people starting to shift is just being able to rest more and using the financial success to fund for more experiences. Like, I really want to grab life fully and eat it up. And I think it's really important too for people to surround themselves with people that will breathe air into their fire.
Yeah, especially with the boundaries, right? I feel like como Latinas y mujeres, we want to say yes to everything without knowing that that's not filling up our cup, that can burn us out, stress us out, give us more anxiety, but we just want to be that type of person to everyone. So I feel like, because I've done that too, and we all at some point, when we set those boundaries, we see how people get removed from your life. We see how certain situations get removed out of your life, and we think, oh, it wasn't meant for us. But it's true. Once you set those boundaries, if it was meant for you, you'll find the way. But I feel like we have to be more intentional with that.
Right. And
So that
setting
was a
boundaries can
powerful
be
reminder.
extremely hard.
Oof,
Yes,
super hard.
especially for us Latinas, right? Because we didn't see that growing up, right? Like I never saw my mom say no to anything, right? She was the oldest of 8 and
Wow.
she was kind of like, always taking care of everyone. Any favor anyone needed, she was always there. So for me personally, it was hard for me to set those boundaries because I'm like, I didn't see that in my household. So it's like, okay, how can I start now unlearning that and learning how to set boundaries? So I think as Latinas overall, we have a hard time because we didn't see that growing up.
We didn't.
Yeah.
That's
But
why we're here
I've
to
seen
break
it
it.
start to shift. And I'm glad that
Yeah.
we're having these conversations. Oh my God, my boundaries are non existent. Or sometimes I've seen that for me too. Some boundaries can be too strong or too high. And then you're not allowing for flow or change.
Mm.
I agree. I love
Yeah.
that. That's so true. Now
And
let's touch
that,
on
oh no, go ahead.
no, I wanted to touch on something now that you mentioned that that's very powerful, which is that healing through sisterhood is also creating those boundaries, right? Because your events go deeper than networking, which we discussed, right? So in the midst of that, what have you witnessed when mujeres come together with intentions, setting those boundaries, having that sisterhood, healing in the process? Share a little bit more about that experience.
I love this. One really great experience that we've hosted is this cafecito journaling.
Mm.
It's very simple, but very powerful. The premise is we meet at a coffee shop and we have a great journaling expert walk us through different prompts. Like, what is your heart feeling like today? What's something that you can do to honor your life? And how can you honor your rest? How can you honor yourself? Write a love letter to your body because some people deal with body issues, right? And through those conversations, all of them have been very intimate. Think about like 15 people. All the times that we've hosted this, so many things come to the surface where people start writing and talking about traumas that they've had. And the sisterhood that you form in there is that you have people that understand it without you having to explain it that much. Right. So this is where the
That's
cultural relevancy comes in. And this is why it's important to create this safe but also brave spaces that allow you to show up fully and people will understand you without you having to over explain. And the connections that come from those moments have been really beautiful to witness because it's a small group. So then one, you're able to hear everybody's story very clearly and you're able to network in a way very mindfully because everybody leaves pretty much with a cell phone number or an Instagram, or
yeah.
sometimes I've seen people leave after the event and they go to do something else. I love when
Beautiful.
that happens because I'm like, oh my God, like we've been here for hours, but you still want to hang out after the fact. For me, it's like mission accomplished.
Yeah.
But those have been like the really gorgeous things that have popped out. And seeing now the relationship that people have cultivated due to the events because they've met at them and they text me or they tag me and say like, I found a new best friend and we're doing pizza nights and we're doing movie nights, but we met at a Cultura event.
Beautiful.
Like, it's just so great because you're not, I'm very friendly, I'm very open, but I don't make friends with everyone there, right? Because it's not possible. But it gives you that platform to find your person based on your likes, based on your personality, based on your background.
And
So
that's what
those
I
are like,
love.
yeah, those are the really powerful things. And I always see people saying, like, give me your contact. I want to put you in touch with a mentor, or I want to put you in touch with somebody that's looking for work, etc. Or my job is looking to hire. So there's just so many layers to it, like from professional to intimate to friendships. Yeah, it's just like been so powerful to see how it snowballs into something really positive and people always willing to help out.
Yeah. And I love how you share that because I feel like, we want as the host, right, that you are your event, the creator. You could be friends with everyone and I'm sure you have a great experience, but not everyone is for you. You're not for everyone. So the fact, and I admire you for that it takes a lot as a leader, as somebody leading an event or leading a community to realize that and be okay with like, I'm happy that you just got together with someone and you went out, you had pizza time, you worked on a business venture, but all of that unfold because of what you created.
Right.
So that's
Right.
powerful to see.
Mhm.
That's very beautiful.
Love that. And I want to take it back to when you had your event a few months ago and you posted on Instagram kind of like a behind the scenes. And we went on this journey with you of you picking up the flowers. You were in the car con tus rolos, which I like
Love
loved,
it.
by the way. And there was a part where you were backstage before you went out to speak and you got emotional and you had your meditation mentor with you and she was helping you ground because I think at that point you were feeling a little overwhelmed, right? Which we all do before we go speak. And you said something when you came out and you did your speech, and I want to quote it. You said, a spiritual person, I thank our ancestors for guiding the way. I know we are living their wildest dreams, and we are standing on sacred ground, building something powerful para mi gente. That really touched us here at Taboo Talks. It's very beautifully said. And in moments of doubt or burnout, how do you ground yourself in that purpose you talked about to keep going for your gente?
Yes. Oh, I'm getting emotional thinking about it because that was a really, I know, oof, that was a really, really powerful moment. when you host something big like that, one is not me just hosting it like in the face and people are coming to me and that's a lot of energy directed at me and me also directing at them. But also I'm logistically in my head of like, did the photographer get that? Did that happen? Did that? Like, I'm also leading. So it can get like, a lot. And that was the very first time I was hosting a panel. And I'm also a nervous speaker. And I knew giving the speech was making me nervous. So hence why I took some time to like ground myself. But the tears came from a lot of happiness, a lot of pride. And and really feeling like, okay, people are here to back me up. And it's right that when you build it, people will come and this is so needed. And also the power that I'm in my flow and the power that this is my life's mission. And this is just one way, like one string of how I accomplish my big life mission. So I was feeling all of those, right? And that's when I said, like, I'm standing on sacred ground because this is like where I'm supposed to be and this is what I'm supposed to be building. I'm sorry, trying to go back to your question.
No, that
No,
was
What
beautiful.
was,
you're fine. I just, in moments of doubt
oh,
or burnout, like, what do you do for yourself, besides, grounding and having, that mentor near you? What else, do you
right. Like if
do?
I didn't have the mentor,
Right.
for me, it was really just reminding myself that this is bigger than me. And I am releasing. I was like, God, take the wheel.
Yeah.
I am just your vessel. The universe, I am just your vessel. Flow through me. Reminding myself that you're in the right spot. This idea, all the partners that came to be, everybody that you've met have come together in your lifetime to allow you to do this. And this is right. So when I was feeling like that, I was like, it's okay. This is also new. Like, this is me talking to my body. You're feeling nervous because this is very new for you because your brain is trying to keep you safe. So I'm like, this is new and you're not nervous. This is excitement. This is all excitement. So I had to like,
Mhm.
I talk myself like in the mirror and I move like, this is all excitement.
I
We're
love
living
it.
it. People are here, but we're not nervous. We're just excited. So things like that, like really talking to your body, to your nervous system. For me, it's so key. And I'm telling you, that was not the only moment that I had to do that grande. It was like weeks before. Because every time you're leveling up, sometimes your body will go into this freeze of like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is new territory. What are people gonna say? So you just like breathe through it and try to have fun with the process, even when something is going wrong. Be like, I asked for this. I asked for this level up. And what an honor it is to be stressed by
Mm.
this because I asked for it. And next week or next month or next year, I want to look back and be like, I'm so glad I asked for this. The things don't get better. You just get better.
Mm.
Oof.
So you have to
I
keep
love
reminding
that.
yourself, like when you're in those moments, I'm growing and like in those growing pains, right? Like I will reframe them as this is beautiful. What a beautiful opportunity. What a gift. Like that discomfort reframe as this is a gift.
That is
I
so
love
Like
beautiful. I want to
that.
give you
that's
the
how
biggest hug, like if I
that's
could
how I
right
would
now.
tell people. Like, yeah, like I move, I talk to myself, like I touch myself like this, I dance, I cry. Like I do, I've been doing so much crying. I'm just like fear, but just tears of joy and deep gratitude. Like so much deep gratitude. Like, oh my God, if my grandma would see this, she
Yeah.
will be over the moon. So why am I gonna be nervous?
Yeah, yeah. It's letting those emotions that I feel as women, right? We try to bubble them in and be like, "No, I have to be strong." No, allow yourself to cry, to feel scared, to have anxiety. Like it's just the way that you overcome and like you said, reframe it, right? Because I feel that as we are pivoting or growing in careers or relationships, we all have those moments. So that is so helpful to keep in mind because I know you're going to continue to experience it, but the way
Yes,
you handle it, it's
100%.
what's powerful of like, I'm gonna keep overcoming it.
Right. And once I got in there, once I had the mic, I was fine. I was like,
Yeah, that's it.
hello. I mean, years ago, I've been going to Shopify events for a long time. Sometimes I'll be sitting as a guest at a panel discussion, and when they will do a Q&A and I had a question, I will be like, "Ooh," shaking. So for me to see that growth of like, oh my, I'm on the other side now, welcoming people and be like, look what we've done.
Beautiful.
Another thing I had to remind myself is that people want to hear from me. They're here for us. They're not here for me, but
for what
They
you're
want to
building.
see you. They want to see you thrive. And you're also an embodiment of the manifestation that they want to see.
I
So
love
good.
that.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. Keep doing what you're doing because we love it here.
Yeah. So all those reminders, I would say, like write them down. I'm okay. And I don't have to be strong. And if I'm crying today, I'm nervous wreck. Okay, then so be it. There's
Let them
tomorrow.
flow. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. All right, Annie. Before we jump into La Tia Chismosa mode, we're going to do a quick lightning round where you're going to have to just fill in the blank, whatever pops up to your mind first. Luxury for a Latina means
Lots of rest in your own terms without the guilt.
yes, without the guilt.
I love it. Now, the
Love it.
next one guilty pleasure you no longer feel guilty about.
Maybe treating myself to a really nice dinner with without looking at the price.
Yes,
Ordering dessert, ordering the wine. Do it.
Yes. Love that.
love it.
La vida es corta. La vida es corta.
And you deserve it. So let's embrace it.
What's your go-to song before your events?
Ooh,
Mhm.
diehard Beyonce fan. I love Diva. I
Ooh,
love yes.
well, thank you. Okay. La tía chismosa.
La tía
The
chismosa.
one who always had something to say at every party. ¿Y tú crees que andar organizando eventos es un trabajo de verdad? Y eso de que las latinas necesitan descanso, ¿desde cuándo? If she could see you now, creating magic, joy, sisterhood for mujeres everywhere, what do you think she'll say? ¿Qué diría?
She is a harsh judge, but I think she would say, like, I think she would say, I see that you're happy. I see that you're passionate about it. And I see that the feedback is good. So I think you're on a right path. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think she would do that. And then she would jump a little bit on.
Yeah.
No dejes esto, haz esto.
That never fails, right? And they do
Never.
it so subtle, right? They just like throw it in there. And their compliment is always so very like mellow,
Little
right?
bit. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you too me gusta lo que está haciendo, very mellow, right? No real like emotion.
I love it.
Love it. And of course, before we wrap up, where can our listeners connect with you and support with you? And if you have any events coming up for Cultura Takeover, like please feel free to let our listeners in.
Yeah. So you can find us on social media at Cultura Takeover. Our website is culturatakeover.com. How you can support us and buy our merchandise. We're all self funded. It's just me and a small team of volunteers. And, we're always trying to find sponsors. If you have sponsorship money, if you know somebody that wants to be a sponsor, reach out to me. It's Annie at culturatakeover.com. Our next event, we're just about to launch the save the date today. We have an upcoming Shopify takeover, our second one, because the first one was so successful. They loved us, so they invited us back. It's going to be on September 17th from 4 to 8:30. And then October 8th, we're doing a great workshop for Latina Equal Pay Day. And then our big Cultura shop, which is on October 19th. This is our annual Temple Marketplace. This is our third year. This is the huge event. We have about 25 vendors. Last year, we killed it. We had almost 800 people come through the door, pay tickets.
Wow.
So great thing for
Beautiful.
people to sponsor. We're still looking for a couple more brands to participate and, mark your calendars. If you can come, share with other people. That's another great way to also, support us. But yeah, all of these events really bring a lot of economic impact to us. It connects brands with their dream customer, keeps the circular economy going. Is really one way for us to keep leveling up as a group, as a community. Just come support and shop. Shop all Latino and build your dream team. And yeah, that's really how you can support us.
I
I
love
love
it.
it. And we'll include everything in the show notes, of course. Annie, thank you for showing us that joy is a birthright, not a reward, that we don't need permission to rest, play, or celebrate.
Yes. You're
Thank you.
reminding Latinas that, we belong in beautiful, intentional spaces and that communities is how we heal, right? So thank you for bringing your heart and vision to Taboo Talks. It's such an honor to have had you here today.
Thank you.
Yes, and to our beautiful taboo breakers, this is your reminder to stop apologizing for taking up space.
Don't
Create it, enjoy it, and know you're worthy of the space. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Y como siempre, chicas, we'll see you next time on Taboo Talks Latina Edition, where we keep breaking cycles, breaking silence, and breaking those taboos. Thank you, Annie.